So, hello everyone, and good afternoon. Welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. I'm here today talking with Matt Newman from Travel Counsellors. Matt's skills lie in offering bespoke packages, travel packages to far-flung places. I know he's spent a lot of time in Nepal and China, and he draws on those experiences. Matt, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Nick.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Tell us how it started, mate. Tell us how your journey started and how you got into travel.
Well, I think I've always loved travelling, but I guess the real sort of clincher was going away, travelling on my own, like many of us do. I was lucky enough to be away for about 2.5 years, working and travelling around the world. I just had a real love of seeing different cultures, seeing how people eat, seeing how they live, see how they just operate, seeing how people get on transport. And I think when I was travelling around, that was a real insight into that side of things. Certainly you mentioned China, Nepal, places that were so very different, especially back in the mid-90s when I was away. So that really sort of fueled my love of traveling and growing up in London, being around so many different cultures, going to some of these far-flung places and seeing how people live. It really, really benefited me coming back to London and understanding different cultures. And that's been great. And that sort of continued on really with my family, taking my family all over the world and getting my kids to see sort of how these countries live, how they operate, and just the daily life of what people do and how they work in their countries. It's just been really interesting to me.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about how much you love to sit outside train stations in places like China and just watch people and see how they react differently and things like that.
I love it. I love it, honestly. Even before sort of I went away, I went interrailing when I was about 17 and just sitting on trains in different countries and just how everyone does things differently. And certainly, I mean, like sitting in Nepal and these people with nothing, no money, they got a small little hut and they all family live in one room, but they all seem so happy. And how they made their tea in the morning and food and some of the real basics of life, but seeing how these different cultures do it was really, it's been really, really inspirational to me.
Completely unmaterialistic, isn't it? I think really living on the basics. It's really intriguing to see.
Really is.
So how did you blend that into work and into businesses and things?
Well, I think that sort of fueled my love of it and enjoyment of seeing other places going away. And I think it was like, how can I potentially use that to earn some money? So I started working for a fairly large travel agency and got a lot of training. I found real enjoyment in putting together itineraries for people, understanding how the airlines work, pretty complex. And that was sort of my first foray into selling travel and earning money from it. And then really from there, after a few other jobs working for a variety of companies, I then set up on my own 2.5 years ago, working under the Travel Counsellors umbrella. And it gave me the flexibility to be able to liaise with my clients and giving a really great personal service. And also being able to share my experiences of places I've been, places I've stayed, and my ability to put together trips for people. So I managed to sort of create a really great business through Travel Counsellors that have given me the support, but having some great clients who've been using me for a number of their trips, whether it's corporate or leisure travellers, to put together holidays, work trips, and so it's kind of just sprouted from there really. But it's fantastic, and it's great to be able to still enjoy travel, to be able to earn a living through helping other people travel. And passing on, some of my experiences and how I like to travel. How I organise my holidays, I really sort of enjoy that and work hard to put my holidays together. And every sort of client I deal with, I treat their trips as if they're my own holiday, really.
Yeah. It sounds like a great case of doing something that you love with your work. It's we're lucky to be able to do those things. So that's really cool.
Yeah, we are. In the current climate, and we'll talk about it a bit, but it's tough. you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, you are having to work very hard for, you know, rearranging stuff. But for the most part, Nick, you're right. You know, to be able to do something and that you really enjoy, and to be able to earn a wage out of it is fantastic. Very
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as specializing in particular trips, is there anything that you sort of niche in, or is it bit of
I mean, I
everything?
definitely have my my real areas that I enjoy. I mean, I guess for me, for my clients, I mean, I will book all travel, and I think for a lot of people that I deal with, they maybe don't have so much time, and they want someone to help them out, put stuff together. They want that personal service. I think in the current climate, there's nothing more important than being able to deal with a human, be able to get through to someone straight away. I mean, people call my mobile, WhatsApp me, FaceTime me, whatever it is, and we speak straight away. There's no queuing, and there's no not struggling to get hold of people. So I do benefit from booking all travel, whether it's corporate cruises, luxury travel. But I guess, you know, I do love putting together itineraries. So whether that's in Europe, where people might want to stay in a couple of places around the Greek islands, or further afield, Southeast Asia, Australia, Canada, America, where people want to do a few different things. You know, as I say, multi-center. You might want to fly into one place, hire a car, and stay in a number of different locations before flying out from another airport. So that's really what I enjoy doing, and I can offer, you know, some really good expertise in that. In the luxury market as well, I've been lucky enough to stay in a lot of nice properties throughout the world. So to have that experience of staying in particular hotels, particular destinations, I'm really able to share that knowledge, share that experience with clients, and saves them loads of time. I mean, yes, you can do research and you can sit and sift through, you know, all the information there is online, but to be able to speak to someone personally or meet them in their house and go through suggestions through my experience and knowledge, then that really does count for a lot. So yeah, I kind of will do everything, but I've certainly got my favorites as far as places to deal with.
Yeah. And so right now, I guess your industry, other than restaurants and bars and things like that, is probably one of the industries that's been hit the hardest with COVID-19. So how are you coping with that? That must be really tough. And how are you dealing with your customers, and how you supporting them?
Yeah, it's been difficult, and like so many industries, you know, it's, you know, as you say, hospitality especially as well. But yeah, travel has been decimated, and I think it's the unknowing that's been really difficult. I mean, it started early on getting clients home. You know, it was a lot of busy days trying to get people back from all over the world, Vietnam, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, just getting people home.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of translated into dealing with people traveling in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Getting refunds and potentially trying to rebook people, which has been difficult. A lot of suppliers, I guess it's a benefit of people using me. They're not having to do a lot of the dog work, getting through to suppliers, trying to get money back, dealing with airlines. It's been really difficult. So there was that period of getting people home, and then sort of that interim period, really from about mid-March till the end of April, of like people aren't going to go away. And now it's this realization that people, I don't think, are going to be traveling properly, you know, for a good few months. So it's now dealing with people traveling over the summer, seeing how they want to play it. There are clients that are still very hopeful of going away, which is great. And other clients would rather just move their trips till next year. And that's what I've been facilitating and really helping them with, to protect my income. Ideally not having to give refunds back to everyone, and people traveling, you know, a few months in advance, refunds may not be possible because airlines could be traveling, hotels could be open.
Yeah.
So it's facilitating those clients to then rebook for next year. Therefore, you know, meaning I keep an income, I keep you know, some money coming in, and also being able to help, you know, rebook these trips that have been spent a long time planning. And clients want to go away. They want to go to travel, and especially at the moment, to have something to look forward to is really vital. So there's been decent demand for 2021 ski trips. I think skiing, I'm really hopeful, will have a decent season. They had to close down for 2 months of this season. So I'm hopeful skiing will come back. And by the time we get to Easter, summer next year, I'm really hopeful that, I think travel will look a little bit different, but people will be able to get away in some kind of normal surroundings.
Mm. I think it's quite a good example of why people should use someone like yourself and your services at the moment, because, you know, like you say, they can just pick the phone up to you. Some of these travel companies right now, they probably can't get hold of because for whatever reason, and having the pleasure of being able to just speak to someone is you know, that's actually very valuable, I think.
Well, I think,
So
and I hope, and I'm sure it will stand me in good stead going forward.
yeah,
Whereby these clients, that sometimes it's just a bit of reassurance, and I've been calling my clients, you know, making sure they're okay, you know, making sure that they're aware that their money is safe, and being quite proactive in trying to move trips. You know, a lot of hotels within a few months of arriving there might be you not get your money back. But if I can approach that, and 3 months before people arrive at a particular hotel, I can get the money back. So it's about being proactive, and
yeah.
and there's a lot of companies not doing that. So to have a sort of trusted travel advisor, someone personable, as I say, you can get through to, it will stand me in good stead. And I think that will be one of the changes in travel going forward. I think the internet's been great for travel, and it still is great. There's huge amounts of information. But when things don't go to plan, you want someone there you can talk to, you can get through to. And I do think the nature of travel agents, people doing what I do, really will come to the fore over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, that was interesting, because that was my next question to ask you, actually, about how do you see it affecting the future of travel and the way things will be done in the future with this, what we're going through.
It's going to be interesting, you know. I think there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some really good things to come out with it. You know, you look at the environment and sustainability. I think travel's obviously been at the front line of that, air travel especially, and I do think people will consider their carbon footprint and how much they go away. There's been a big focus on places like Venice, for example. You know, over tourism. These places that are getting absolutely mobbed with tourists, cruise ships arriving. You know, every day, 2, 3 arriving. You know, will that, which isn't sustainable. Some of these amazing places, as I say, like Venice, you know, it's not the same because there's so many people going there. So I'm hopeful that due to COVID-19, that there will be a shift. You know, maybe over tourism will be less of a problem, and there'll be less people visiting. Maybe people will travel less, leaving less of a carbon footprint. So I think that will be one sort of long-term, hopefully, benefit. Obviously, I still want people to travel, and people are going to want to see these amazing cultures and go to these amazing places to see, and that will still happen. I just think it's going to take a bit of time to get up to that stage where people are confident about sitting on airlines, interacting and being close to people. I think in the medium term, I think domestic travel will boom. Hopefully this summer and even going through over the sort of autumn time, I think people will travel domestically. I think private villas, gîtes, and I think where you're not in a hotel type environment, I think that will flourish. Got a number of people traveling to villas over the summer, and I'm really hopeful that might be something we can stay in place. If you can fly into Portugal, Spain, Greece, and you're going to your own villa with your own pool, and all you need to do is potentially go to a supermarket, then I'm hopeful in the medium term that type of travel will still be around in the summer. But yeah, will be interesting. I'm hoping there's going to be more flexibility. A lot of airlines, especially, are very inflexible. You buy a flight, you pay your money, often quite a lot of money, and you're fixed.
Yeah.
And I know through reading some reports over the last year, a lot of the younger generation, the millennials, for example, want to get this flexibility. Yeah, I want to book a holiday, but I might need to shift it. And I hope that through the current situation that there might be a bit more flexibility from airlines. I know, for example, travel counsellors, we're offering outside 8 weeks for a number of products. You'll be able to change your booking without any questions, without any worries. So I think the flexibility will be key. And also, I mean, we've all got so used to travel, jumping on low-cost flights, going everywhere. Like I mentioned, with the carbon footprint, people will be more aware of that, and maybe travel is going to become a bit more of a treat. You know, I think a lot of us have classed a holiday as a necessity, which in a way it is, but maybe we'll move back to a bit more of a luxury item. Maybe people will travel less, and it really will become that real treat that it always was. Maybe people have got a bit blasé with travel. So So that's interesting. And then I think the last bit, which we're already seeing, is airlines and availability opening up earlier. Traditionally, you'd be able to book flights 11 months in advance. Already, Virgin are going to be announcing their summer timetable ahead of this 11-month rule. EasyJet are already open flights up. So I'm hoping people can book far in advance. People will be able to book flights maybe 2 years in advance rather than this sort of year in advance. So that opening of allowing people to book further in advance could well be a benefit for customers and a change in the travel scene.
It's really interesting, and it's really interesting to hear your point of view on it, because wouldn't it be so lovely to go on holiday right now, or next week, or the week after, or knowing that you can go next month or the one after that? That'd be so nice for everyone, because I think, like you say,
well, everyone's going to need holiday, and I think it would be really nice. It's just that confidence. I mean, people aren't a bit worried about going to the shop or getting the kids to school, so going away to an airport I think it's going to take time to build that confidence. But a bit of lockdown by a swimming pool or something like that. I heard when it first broke, there was quite a lot of people stuck in the Maldives. So they were in lockdown in the Maldives, which would have been rather nice.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be lovely. Matt, thanks, mate. That's really interesting to hear your point of view and hear your story. Let's hope let's just hope, that things will get moving, so we can all.
We've just got to keep fingers crossed, and things will get moving. It's going to take time, and and hopefully at the end of it, people will value travel agents and be able to use the services of that individual, not just in travel, but in loads of industries. Where you're dealing with maybe a small independent, or you're dealing with a person rather than this sort of craving for quick, easy service, cheap. I think people are going to see the value, certainly, we mentioned earlier with myself, but in a lot of these businesses where they're getting that real personal service and dealing with an individual. So hopefully there'll be some positives coming out of this in the long run.
Yeah, I hope so. It's funny you mentioning that. That's kind of the backbone of Brilliant Businesses, where we try and get people that have been in corporate perhaps, or have left corporate, and believe that they can just put more love into it and do it by doing it themselves. And then letting the local communities use those people, because that's the backbone of our economy, really, small businesses. So thanks, mate. Really good to see you again. All Matt's details are on the Brilliant Businesses website, so please get in contact with him if you need any travel requirements for now or in the future, of course. So thanks very much, Matt, and
thanks, Nick.
I'm sure I'll see you again soon. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, lovely. Cheers. Bye.